Within the ancient data slates and history scrolls of the Raven Guard Space Marine chapter, there exists a long-forgotten cadre of warriors that fought alongside the Primarch Corvus Corax even before his discovery by the Emperor of Mankind over 10,000 years ago. This small but highly skilled squad of legionnaires were expert infiltrators that dramatically improved the odds of victory long before the main force made contact with the enemy. They were known as the Mor Deythan, and before we get into the details of this elite unit of Raven Guard, allow me to welcome you guys back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. For those that don't know, I am your host Gersh1, your guide through the grimdark universe of Warhammer 40,000. If you're interested in learning more about the Raven Guard, please subscribe to the channel. For this entire week, I will be covering this chapter and its successors, so if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave me a comment down in the comment section below. And if you like this faction-focused approach to our lore, please shadow walk behind the like button and end its life. It helps this video reach a wider audience, and it helps YouTube focus more 40k lore videos for your feed. But with all that said, let's get into 40 facts and lore on the Mor Deythan. The creation of the Mor Deythan can be traced back to a time when the Primarch Corvus Corax arrived on the moon of Lycaeus. This moon served as the primary source of minerals and raw resources for the forge world of Kaivar. When the Primarch crash landed on Lycaeus, it was ruled over by the Mechanicum tech guilds of the forge world. Under their iron watch, they sent heavily armored guards to oversee the enslaved inhabitants of the moon. This included criminals, political opponents, and workers who had failed to meet their quotas. This enslaved population was the first to discover the pale-skinned Primarch. Recognizing his power, they hid him from the overseers and quickly began to train him in the various skills they believed a leader and a warrior would need. Named Corvus Corax, which means the deliverer in the Kaivarian tongue, the Primarch witnessed the brutality of the tech masters as they benefited from the pain and suffering of the political slaves of Lycaeus. Educated to be a leader of men as well as a rebel guerrilla, Corax began his task of liberating his adopted community by organizing the Lycaean workers into fighting teams. These units fought small-scale and fast-moving skirmishes all across the moon against the dreaded overseers. Fearing the whip of the tech masters, few of these tiny battles were reported, a foolish action that only helped Corax and his guerrilla warriors slowly cripple the large and more powerful police force. During the conflict, the Primarch promoted the best warriors to squad leaders. From these veteran warriors, the first Mor Deythan were formed. They followed Corax during the Shadow Crusades to free the moon of Lycaeus from the rule of the Kaivaran tech masters. Corax fought a hard and bloody guerrilla war against these tyrants, and afterwards, when the Emperor came to the newly renamed Moon of Deliverance, those young enough to withstand the augmentations became the first Space Marines of the 19th Legion. The title of Mor Deythan continued as the first Deliverance-born Astartes joined the ranks of the Great Crusade. This elite cadre of warriors continued to fight right alongside their Primarch, but now they were enhanced with the godlike powers of a Space Marine. And through a genetic quirk of their gene seed, these Mor Deythan developed the same unique ability as their Primarch, allowing them to shadow walk. These battle brothers could move without being seen by other sentient beings. Even when directly in line of sight of an enemy, by willing an observer not to see them, they somehow avoided detection. By using this uncanny ability, these Space Marines became expert infiltrators, moving about unseen and slaughtering the enemy. The only true method of detection was readings from an Auspex device. Corax then utilized his formidable knowledge of stealth and sabotage to the fullest extent, training these specially selected legionnaires to be called upon to perform highly dangerous reconnaissance and guerrilla missions deep behind enemy lines. Nicknamed Shadow Masters, this elite unit was not known even amongst the members of his own legion. Only the Primarch himself and a selected group of legion apothecaries were aware of the Mor Deythan at the time of the Horus Heresy. Oftentimes, Corax would call upon the Mor Deythan to further their goals and objective against a very secure enemy. By the time of the Dropsite Massacre of Isstvan V, the Mor Deythan were few in number, having fought countless campaigns over 8 standard decades at their master's side, and they rarely admitted new recruits into their ranks. During this time, many of their numbers were too spread out across the galaxy performing their own missions when the deadly events of Isstvan V transpired. After carrying out countless missions on behalf of their Primarch, attrition began to take a serious toll on their numbers. Most who remained were grizzled veterans, supremely confident in their abilities. They were adept at moving silent and unseen through the shadows and attacking as and where they willed. They utilized a range of weapons and specialized equipment, like sniper rifles, shotguns, combi weapons, volkite chargers, flamers, melta guns, and they even donned artificer armor. But the most common weapon utilized by the Mor Deythan were the chainsword and the bolt pistol. These acted as their most trusted and primary weapons, and although simple, they were 10 times deadlier when in the hands of these most elite Raven Guard veterans. Another incredibly unique battlefield tool developed by the Mor Deythan was the creation of a battle cant called Stock Argot. It consisted of a series of sighs and whispers that were indistinguishable from wind and other environmental sounds. Not only was it undetectable by the enemy, but it was incredibly adaptable to almost any environment. These warriors were true masters of stealth and reconnaissance. The few dozen Mor Deythan that were left alive continued to fight on against the treacheries of the War Master Horus and his traitor legions until the last of their numbers finally fell in the service of the Emperor. It is not known if the Mor Deythan still exist as part of the Raven Guard chapter in the current millennia. There are whispers and rumors of successor chapters of the Raven Guard that are attempting to revive this elite cadre of warriors. With the introduction of the Primaris Marines and the new gene seed organs being utilized by the Sons of Corvus Corax, there may be a chance of not only reforging the unit, but also manipulating the genetic quirks of the Primaris to possess the ability to shadow walk. And that's the lore on the Mor Deythan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's just a quick little synopsis on this Forge World unit that you can play, or this Horus Heresy unit that you can play. Unfortunately, you can't play the Mor Deythan in 9th edition. Kind of like you could still use the models and you could still use the same type of weapons, but there's no like special rules or anything like that. As far as I know, I can't really say for certain. If you're a Raven Guard player and you've played these guys, or if you have tried to play these guys, let me know how you did it in the comment section below. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be covering the Raven Guard for what's left of this week, so if you guys have any suggestions for other lore topics about the Raven Guard, whether it's a successor chapter or any other type of like cool relic or anything to discuss about the Raven Guard, let me know in the comments section below so I can create a video for you guys. I appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to be creating a poll sometime probably on Friday or Saturday here on YouTube as far as like what the next chapter is going to be for or what the next chapter chapter is going to be for next week, so stay tuned for that. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, because I'll probably be posting one over there as well. And yeah, that's it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, I did the